Just keep an eye on it over here, I guess. Oh, all right, there we go. Okay, so usually do that thing where you like wait for people to like come in or whatever, but the goal today is just to write a lot of code. Just heads down, gonna write a bunch of code, and see how that goes. Don't really do a lot of streams like this, so it's kind of an experiment. Let's just tweet about this real quick, actually, while we're waiting. I'll open my TS config for those who are already here. Yeah, let's go ahead and give this a retweet. All right. Okay. So yeah, it's October 30th, Wednesday morning, bright and early. Day before Halloween. So don't really want to waste too much more time. Let's just get right into it. So what we're doing today, if you guys are not familiar with, with ad block, then you could check out this new sweet ad block ad that we have here. Let's go. Just want to open a new Chrome window. Yeah, new window. Let's go. All right, so we got this new thing called Expo DOM components, which just came out. In fact, there's some great videos on it, like one by Simon. I did a talk about it at React Universe Conf with some crazy camera work there. And then, yeah, a lot of good videos about this so far. But the gist of it is that you can incrementally migrate your app from web to native. So the idea here is like when I first heard about React Native, I remember I had used React a little bit before, and I was just like, oh, this is cool, right? React Native. So that must be like React, the web thing on native. And it is definitely not at all like that. React Native is totally different. It's great. You have like super, fantastic performance, and it just keeps getting better, like new architecture landed. But there's obviously this missing space of wanting to take React code and then put it on native and incrementally move over. There's been tools like this in the past where you have, like a web view solution where the whole app is in a web view. And the problem with that is that the more time you spend building into that web view, the deeper you dig yourself into this hole, where if you want to get to true native performance, at some point you're gonna have to like climb out of the hole and start from scratch. So I wanted a solution where you could migrate over, but the more time you spent working on it, the better your app got over time. So we're gonna try that today with a project that I've been working on for a while. It's like my dog fooding project. But yeah, the gist of it is that you'll use this use DOM syntax to mark a component as being a web component. Then you can import it as a native component and then export it in your native app. You can also pass it some props as long as they're serializable and some functions. So, lots of features, lots of bundler magic going on here. It also works with Atlas, which is pretty sick. And it's all built on React Native Web View. Fantastic project maintained by the Infinite Red folks. If you guys are new to React Native, WebView actually used to be inside of the React Native package. It was split out so that there could be better iteration, more features landed, which is like mostly happened. There's been some pretty good features landed. Even like for DOM components, we've been able to land some pretty good features. And then since this just came out with the SDK 52 beta, like less than a week ago. I guess it came out. Oh, I guess it was actually exactly a week ago. And since then, we actually did this emergency adding Expo router support. So you're able to basically have link elements and use other Expo router APIs. We also have this new Expo router link component inside of we had the link component, but we had the new export. So it's easier to migrate from existing web frameworks because it's kind of a popular convention. Yeah, couple of other features. We'll just get into these as we need them. But what we're going to be doing today is going into this website, evanbacon.dev. This is my personal portfolio. It's all built with Expo Router. Basically, the story here is that for as long as I've been at Expo, I've had a portfolio, and I've just been like upgrading it over time, adding. So when I first built Expo Web, like maybe 6 or 7 years ago, which is just like kind of a Create React app fork, I used Expo Web for that, or for this, but with the original Expo Web. Then I rewrote it to Expo Router, which is why it looks so good here, where you have like this fully responsive navigation system. You see the sidebar turns into tab bar up at the bottom and the top. And then over here, we can change to this blog route. You get these nice little animation effects, and we can like click on to these. We get this list of almost 2,000 apps using Expo in 2024. Should probably update this for the end of the year. Lots of fantastic apps. Let's see. Then we got this games tab over here where we can basically just look at like different games that I've built. All of these built with Expo as well. We love our Expo over here. So we got Sunset Cyberspace. I made this game like right before I came out to interview at Expo, and it was quite jarring. Yeah, this is also an Expo Router app and website, Pillar Valley. Pretty good stuff. You can download it in the App Store. So the idea today is basically, like, as you can see here, this is all very heavy markdown. There's a lot of text. The idea, like what I'm trying to do, at least with this blog part, is just make it so that I can very quickly write some markdown, some MDX, have a bunch of these custom components, and just get my ideas out there as quickly as I can. So that if I want to talk about Apple home screen widgets with Expo CNG, I can like get some good SEO on these. I can put them out and I can format them however I want. I mean, there's some like crazy blocks in here. Basically, every time I write an article, I write a new MDX element in order to really just spruce things up. Like, for instance, this quote block about why do in 1 hour what you can do in 12. So yeah, a lot of elements here. Migrating this all to native manually would be a pain. And then also it's like, do I even really want to migrate this over to native? Because it's like, would Apple even accept it? I don't know. Like, it's hard to say. So given that there's a lot of content here, I mean, it's kind of a weird dichotomy here where like Apple doesn't really like to accept apps that don't have a lot of content. But at the same time, it's like, do I really want to convert a bunch of content if it's not going to get approved? So I think DOM components, supposing they work and I can actually migrate my website over, I think that'll be, it helps open up this new space in here. And then there's also some of these other, like this FAQ page, which I just use to test structured data. So yeah, that's basically the rundown of essentially the entire website. So yeah, let's just jump right in. Got the code base over here. It's on GitHub at evanbacon / I think like evanbacon.dev. This is the code base we'll be working with. And you can see some of the code is like 5 years old, or at least that's the last time it was updated. So you can like jump in this code and see what the source material looks like. It's all that good Expo Router stuff. So let's get it running locally. Got my VS Code portal dealio over here. Got my terminal here on the right side. Not really in love with wherever the terminal goes, but it changes when you're like streaming and you get the font pumped up big. So let's do like Bunx Expo. And I'm doing a lot of commentary now. That's gonna kind of plummet the second I start going heads down. So yeah, let's open this up on web. Over here, we can see a bundling in the background, starting up the SSR render, and then the client-side bundle, which loads in here. And then we've got, all of our pages just like before. You can open them up and load into each one of the pages. You'll notice that there's a bit of a flicker when we open the page. So like this page, for instance, oh, never mind. Maybe if I reload that, we'll see a bit of that flicker again. Like there where it kind of jumps. That's because I have async routes turned on. Now, when we do no more server stuff in the future, especially with the server actions, We're going to be moving to a world where we have async routes on by default. We can get rid of the flicker. It'll just bundle longer, and then it'll like load everything all at once. Maybe that's not what we want, but it'll load everything you want basically for the single route. So what we're seeing here is that it's like loading the layout, and then it's loading every other layout, and then it loads the leaf, and we're seeing that kind of jumble. But the main benefit we get with async routes is it's kind of like it's like one part of something similar to module federation, where you only bundle the part of the code that you're working on. So for instance, we're only bundling up these routes. We didn't bundle the games route. Like that bundles when we load that route. So this means if you're working on a massive app, you don't have to worry about like bundling up everything to see stuff. We actually worked with the Meta DevX team who uses this technique for the Facebook apps. So think like literally the Facebook app and the other apps that they work on for this exact reason. So you can use that by enabling async routes in here inside of the Expo router config plugin. Now, the reason why that's important is because mostly we use this on web. It's been a little bit buggy on native, but we've actually resolved a bunch of those bugs with the RSC work. And we're going to want to turn this on when we do our migration, because as we're migrating our routes over, we don't want to have to migrate every single route all at once. And so by turning async routes on, we will only be bundling the routes that we're working on, that we're opening. So this will make the migration a bit easier. Turn on async routes, and you have this web default thing, but you can just switch this to be everything async routes all the time. Let's see, what else do we want to do? Let me check my messages here, make sure nothing crazy is going on. Got the Halloween costume out for delivery. And all right. Let's see if there's anything over on YouTube. Okay, wow, a lot of messages in here, actually. Let me how about React Native app to the web, the other way around? So React Native app to the web, Expo Web has been pretty decent at that for a long time. Like you just pop in React Native web. The main problem with like going from React Native to the web is that the web has a lot of techniques, like techniques that just no other front end system has, right? So it's going to be things like build time. Well, I mean, there's lots of build time optimizations, it's very vague, but like SSG, maybe where you could do some data fetching and then render out code. Things like declaring all of your dynamic styles. So if you think about breakpoints, especially like light mode, dark mode, it's really nice that in tools like Tailwind, you can say like, when the screen is dark, hide this element, and just declare this. So there's just so many patterns. And what we're working on with Expo Router is bringing those patterns to universal first, so you can basically switch whichever way you want to go. But if you just want to go React Native to web today, you're going to get a bit more of a watered down experience, and you can do that with React Native web, pretty straightforward. Hello, Expo and React Native community. Hello. Okay, I'm seeing some debugging questions in here. I think we'll leave these for later. Is this pre-recorded? No, unfortunately, it is not. Anything can happen today. Could you imagine this is pre-recorded and I just left all this like craziness in? I was just like, yeah. How can I hide the tab bar and header while scrolling? Evan Bacon. We can get into that a bit later, but the main thing you want to do is that when you're scrolling, you could, I mean, if we had an example here, I'd love to get distracted, by the way. Let's see. If we were in something like, let's just create a new project, create expo-t default at beta. I mean, it doesn't have to be beta. 31. I mean, the main thing that you want to do when you're hiding the like tab bar and header is you will just have some layout context which accesses the scroll ref up in the layout route, and then you can control the layout however you want. I could have just said that. I don't know. I'm very much in code mode today, but yeah, I'll stay focused here. All right, gonna close this. Good morning, everyone. Let's just, let's try running this all on iOS. Moment of truth here. So we can hit the I button, open this up in Expo Go over here, and we see it loading. We do see our splash screen, and then immediately we're gonna get this error. So this is the error that you get. It's not a great error. I do not love this error. I wish there was a custom error. I think we should add that. This error basically means that you tried to render a div. So view config getter callback for component div must be a function received undefined. It's actually possible to make div work. It's just not a native view that we've registered. And so we'll see basically a couple of these divs. And now what we can do to debug this, we see the component stack, we see div background, and then app suspense route, blah, 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 blah. So we know that if we search for background in our component stack, okay, actually font might be a little big. I'm gonna bump that down a bit. Background, all right, easy. Luckily, we only have one thing called background. We're gonna find it here, very aptly in our root layout. So we see app/layout. So this is basically the top of the tree where we are hitting this issue, which makes sense. The first view that mounts that is not native compatible. So we could just go into our background here and we could add use DOM. As we can see here, it's using a bunch of Tailwind and then so on and so forth. So let's save that. And let's just try to get to a state where we have things just running without an error on the screen. Let's reload the app real quick. Okay, so now we don't see it on background. We see unknown instead of Expo router link, tab link, header logo, sidebar. Okay, so this looks like it's in the next layout. So the structure of our app is such that we have source, app, layout, got some array syntax here for a bunch of different tabs. So it's going to represent the index tab, the blog tab, and the games tab. And then we have this other layout. And yeah, this is a ton of web code. Lots and lots. Like this is all of our custom web code, right? This is going to be hard to migrate over. Now, we can't add use DOM here because you can't add use DOM inside of layout routes because DOM components don't accept native children. That's weird. Yeah, okay. They don't accept like child views that are that are supposed to render on the native platform. They can only render to whichever platform they're a part of. So layout routes, that is not going to work. What we can do is split all these components out and then basically interweave them back in with versions that are either universal or native. But we can also just come in here and do _layout.native.tsx. And now we can add something like, let's just add a stack layout for now. Pull in our stack from Expo router, render that. Now, if we reload this, all right, we've moved it up a little bit. Okay, so now we see on our home route, we have div page header h1. So that's going to be the first route that we render, right? Our index route. Again, more web code. So let's just come in here, use DOM, give that a try, reload this bad boy, and see what we got. Okay, that seems like a weird transient issue. Let's go ahead and give this a close. Everything here is running on the beta of Expo SDK 52, so there may be like some wonkiness. Okay, this is promising so far. Okay, so we have a route, and then we have this other block up here. So let's try to figure out like what's going on. To do that, we can just open up Safari, go to develop, and then pick our simulator, and we can see without even having to open it, we do see that there's background and index. So this first view is that background view that we created earlier. And I guess what we want to do is we want that to float in the background and not like flex and push the content down. So let's just do that right now. And we go to the background. Yeah, we can see that originally the styles here from Tailwind are like fixed, top, 0, left, bottom, right, all that. So it's definitely supposed to flex in the background. The reason it's not is because when we import it inside of our layout here, we're going to have like this is just its own native view. It has its own styling. So what we need to do is we need to expose the internal props for the web view that we're using. So we can do that by doing DOM expo DOM dot DOM props. All right, so this means that we'll be able to use this like a typed version of the DOM prop, the DOM object here. So now we can come in and everything here goes to the web view, or specifically the DOM component wrapper, because there's other things that aren't on the web view. So I think they're like container style. Yeah, we do container style, position. Absolutely, I wish we could do position fix. Top 0, left 0, bottom 0, right 0. And now it has moved to the back there. Let's see if we can get us a little bit more room here. Try to manage our windows a little bit better. Let's close this one, move this in a bit, put our simulator here so we can just see progress while we're doing it. And also, like, we made a couple changes so far. It looks like our website is still like chugging along. Like, we haven't broken our website at all. It's still fully responsive. Everything appears to work exactly as we left it, which is pretty sweet because we're already starting to get some results here. So now the next issue is that this doesn't look at all like this. Something is going wrong here. And the something that's going wrong is that the styles appear to be broken. Now, what I would imagine it is, I mean, and we could see this if we open Safari, we would see like what the problem is. But the problem is that we have this index route here and we're importing some global CSS. So instead of a DOM component, it's its own global, right? It's its own web view. So it doesn't have access to any of the other globals that we were using. We have to import those all manually. So if we go inside of this index route here, we can import our global CSS. So we'll do ../.. Is that it? Okay, perfect. Got our global, save that. And just like that, we have our Tailwind styles coming in. So that is pretty fantastic. Now we see the website's pretty much just dark mode only. So we need to kind of lock the background to dark mode. I think what we could do here is we could just go into the layout and then import the theme provider from React Navigation. What is that going to be? Navigation/native. Theme provider, dark theme. All right, and then we can just wrap our content with that. Okay. Theme provider, dark theme, theme provider. Doesn't have a navigation container, of course. Also, that doesn't look right. Value. Oh. Okay, it's just because I exported it weird. Anyways, now we have it all in dark mode right here. So, I mean, already not too bad, getting close. I have this kind of custom web, like this background here, and we added DOM components to it, but I kind of want to just pull it out, have the background be like system dark color, so it looks just more like a standard stock iOS app. So even though we have it in here and we can use this, all I have to do is like set this background to transparent or whatever, or move the background inside of the view, which we could, we can experiment with all these different things. We could try that. Let's see. Let me throw this in here, background. This doesn't even need to be a DOM component because it's inside of a DOM component, so it should just work. So you see now we have the blue background in there, but it just looks like a little webby, a little wonky. So I think we'd just stick with like standard dark background. So going back up to our layout where we have the background, I kind of just want to do if process.m.expoOS is not equal to web, then return, yeah, let's do the theme provider, but let's just change this to be tabs. Let's remove this because we don't really need that on the web. Okay, so now we have some tabs in here and we can see all of the different tabs for like index, blog, and games. And I think that they're all just going to default to using this index tab. So we can change that here in a minute. Let's see. Okay, but we have this we have this double header from the tabs thing. So let's get rid of that. Let's see, header shown, change that to false. All right, so now we have our header, we have our tabs, and already we can see this app start to like really come together. So let's get some of these other tabs like rendering on the board. So in here, what we could do is we could just change the stack screen. Basically, with the clone syntax that we're using here, we're saying that every single, like we should create 3 versions of this layout route for each one of the tabs. So what we will need to do is change this default name to be whichever tab we want to be the default. So real quick, let's just change this to like blog index, so that that's like the first tab that renders. All right, so we're back to issues with rendering HTML inside of our app. Also, pretty cool that that didn't break until we switched to the tab. That's the power of async routes, which is why, yeah, turn that on. Great way to migrate. I actually have some migration tips that I like penned out before this that I'm going to release and just like put in our docs somewhere. So things about like what we want to do for releasing, some effects that I like to put in to make an app good, and then some things that I thought would be good. Migrate to Expo router. That would be good if you wanted to migrate from a website over to a native app. So it's going to be things like using migrate from like the A element to the link element, use require instead of public. Just because like when you use the require syntax, we basically, that tells the bundler that you intend to use the contents of that asset inside of your app. And so then the bundler can do more magic with it. Use cross-platform primitives like Expo HTML elements, Expo router head for meta tags, async routes, platform-specific routes for temporary bridging. So we've already done a bunch of these. So yeah. Anyways, back to this. Let's fix whichever tab we were on. I think blog index. Where's that? Blog index right up here. Just spam in some use DOM directives. In fact, let's just do this everywhere. Let's do use DOM inside of games, use DOM inside of FAQ. And I don't think the Lego or talks routes are even used anymore. And then we also have this post element, so we could just throw one in there. Oh, right. Okay, so use DOM only supports a single default export, and we're using generate static params. So we'll have to do like a different policy for whatever this route is, the blog post route when we get there. Anyways, this should, I think if we reload the page, it seems to be some issue with fast refreshing between switching to DOM components. We can fix that up later. And then this should show what's going on here. Let's open up our, okay, we don't see any issues in there. Open this bad boy up. Okay, so we do see the page is technically loaded. Oh, there we go. Okay, what? Let's try reloading that, see if we get that again. Index, elements, body. Okay, so this isn't even like, oh no, it did load. Our content is definitely here. And this is, it looks like this is definitely, oh, okay, I see what's going on. It's unstyled. We don't have the global thing from before. So let's import our global CSS again. Global.css. Okay, there it is. So we got our code in there. Let's just do that with games before we forget. Let's also do this with the FAQ page before we forget. And that should give us, yeah, a little bit of that. All right, and then it breaks when we push the next route. Let's come back to that. Man, this new open debugger warning is very annoying. All right, so we got the games tab. Let's get the tabs to like align correctly. So when we switch to a different stack, we have the correct tab in place. The way we can do this is that there's a segment prop, which is passed to the layout route. That's just going to represent which segment we are currently rendering, or that this layout is like being rendered for. Someone's at the door. Hopefully they go away. Let's see. So you got the segment prop. In the segment prop, let's just console log this out. Segment. All right. So now we'll see down here, segment is index, and then it's games. And then if we come over here, it's blog. So what we need to do is basically create kind of a switch statement to change which elements we want to render based on that. So let's just match out the content, because the name is going to be like blog, and then it's going to be games, and it's going to be index. So let's just match that. Parentheses, dot star. So basically just select everything inside of parentheses and then go with the first match that we find. Let's call that like route. Also make that like, we know this is always going to work, or at least we hope it always works. I don't think there's ever a case where it breaks. And then we should be able to change this like route. The other problem is that it's going to be blog when we want blog index. So let's say if route is equal to blog, then change it to blog index. Otherwise, do route. All right, let's see. So we should have blog index, and then we open games. We should have games. Cool. I mean, that's a little odd. It's like opening the videos. But look at that. I mean, my God. Okay, some good stuff. If we come back over here to the website's still running. I mean, and yeah, all right. Everything looks to be in order. I mean, yeah, some funky behavior here, but we're already starting to make this into like a real application. We're only like 32 minutes in, and half of that has just been me kind of yammering about stuff. Okay, this video thing is annoying. Let's fix this video thing. So what we want to do there, oh my goodness, is let's just look at like what we're doing with the video. It looks like, I mean, that should be fine. I think that's just like web view behavior. So what we can do is we can change the web view's behavior by extracting this games route out. So let's just copy all this code and refactor it into the components route. Do like games route.tsx, move it into here. And then we kind of want to like change anything that was doing triple dot to just do like double dot. Yes, let's do replace. That should fix that. Now let's go into our games route and then delete the use DOM directive because we don't want this. We want this to be basically a native route. And then let's do games route native, whatever. Let's do games route, import our web view or like our DOM component, delete all that. And so now we've basically refactored this such that we have access to the DOM component in like all of its props. So if we were to go into it and do that same DOM component trick as before, where we say like DOM, come on, Copilot, work with me. No, okay, it's too new, it doesn't know. DOM props, then we can do some of that. Now we can come into here, go DOM, and there should be some options to get rid of this video playback. I think it's like, yeah, playback requires user action. Let's say false because we just want these to play automatically, even though it looks like they're already doing that. Allows inline media playback. There we go. Is there any other one in there? Doesn't look like it. Okay, well, maybe that's enough to get working. There we go, I think. Wait, I think it was playing after a few seconds. So let's see if it starts up in a minute. Okay. Looks like we've saved it. Yeah. Okay, so it looks like, yeah, now we've got this and it's rendering correctly. I do think there's some other areas where we use video, so we might have to do this trick a few more times, but it should be good for now. Main thing on my mind is that this does not feel like the most native-y of native apps. And what we need to do is basically just start working towards making this feel super native so that we can try deploying it to the App Store. So one thing that comes to mind is that we have this like index here and then we have hello world here. Like we have these two different titles. So let's try like combining these. You know, Apple has like the big header style. Like I don't know where we can find one. Maybe here in this reminders app. Yeah, so they've got this, no, not now. They got this like big header here. So let's try adding this effect to our DOM components and getting that to work. The way that we can do that is we go into layout.native. Let's go screen options, header, large title, true. All right, and now we have index, but it looks like it's cutting off the contents behind it. So we need to like shift the scroll view down. Now think about a DOM component, or like a DOM component uses a native web view. And a native web view, at least on iOS, the body scrolling is native scrolling. That's a UI scroll view. So we can pass in the same UI scroll view props that we would use to have that automatically adjust for the header as it moves up and down. But to do that, we will need to do another one of those refactors like we did before. So let's go index route, the TSX, just move this out a little bit. Yeah, refactor. Oh wait, no, we want to keep use DOM in. Refactor that up a bit. Go back to our index route. Kind of clean this up. And then just, yeah, re-export the home route. Same deal as before. Oh, now it's got it. Perfect. DOM. And then we need, what is it? It's like content inset adjustment behavior. There we go. Nice and concise. But then there's some other ones, like, I know if you type auto, you get it. Okay, automatically adjust content inset. I don't know why. It feels like that serves the same purpose as this other one. Whatever. True. So this will like keep the scroll bars moving around. So I think if we save that now, let's reload that. That's some weird state thing going on in there. All right, so now it looks like we do have this kind of bouncing effect going on here. Let's turn that brightness up. I can barely see this. But we have, yeah, this bouncing. So we have like the content moving as we'd expect it to with the native header animation, which already feels much better. Let's just get rid of this old header. We could do that. We could basically say like, we can't say if iOS, because inside of here, everything's running in web. And we can't say if web because we want it to stay rendering on our website, right? Like if we say, basically process.m.expo.os is not equal to web, we will get rid of it, but then we also won't have it here anymore. So we want it to stay on our website and we want it gone from our DOM component. The way we can do this is we can pull in is DOM. So we just do like is DOM, and that'll import this variable, this Boolean, whatever this is. And it looks like, yeah. Oh, right. We're saying is DOM. Okay. If not is DOM, there we go. And now we have it still on our website, but we got it gone on our DOM component. Pretty sweet. So now we just have to do that with every other route. Let's just clean up the header in here real quick. How are we doing on time? 40 minutes in. All right. We got some energy. We can keep going. We can get this whole thing migrated. It is slightly more exhausting to talk about everything as I'm coding. Let's see what these comments are. Can it be turned into a PWA? Yeah, my website's already a PWA. Was the site using Expo Web to start with, or Vanilla React? If Vanilla React, did you add Expo Router? So it was using Expo Web, but not Expo Router Web. And Expo, the original Expo Web that I wrote like 6 years ago was like Webpack, and it was like basically Vanilla React, but with the ability to run React Native Web. It's very basic, and that was kind of by design. I think importing global CSS all the time is annoying. What if a partial other class? Yeah, so I also think it's kind of annoying. The way that this works on, let's see, I hope this like screen thing I'm doing here isn't too bad. I also think it's kind of annoying. I think maybe we could have something like the way that this works in server components, or that it should work, is basically, because if you import global CSS in a server component, how does it know to get to the client? And kind of the idea there is that because it's global, you just pull it into whichever client components render. You like hoist it up artificially. And I think we could maybe do something like that with DOM components, where you could artificially hoist any sort of global CSS into the DOM component. The problem there is that then you wouldn't have the ability to like say, okay, I just want this CSS to load here and I don't want it in the DOM component. But that might be like a worthwhile opinion, just because it's like, I find I keep stubbing my toe on it, and I imagine other people will as well. Did you decide what styling solution to ship with Expo Router? I know that. Like, what I'm thinking for styling in Expo Router is we just need to keep adding more native styling solutions. So, like, if you saw with SDK 52, we now have linear gradient, thanks to Nishon, fantastic dude. Um, and then we have box shadow, we have filter, we have I'm really like racking my brain. It's a little early, and some like yeah, mixed blend modes, like a ton of different styling options thanks to Nick Erleman and the meta team. So yeah, we just need to keep increasing all the styles. And one style that I think would be a good one to add is, well, a couple. One would be just like some CSS parsing. So, you know, some basic CSS parsing. So you'll notice here, like we do actually in some places import the global CSS file, and it can just be imported on native, and that's totally fine. Actually, I think like in here we import it on native. So like what we do is when we see this, we just shim it to nothing. And so what native win does is it extends native win, just as an example. What that does is it extends Expo's Metro config, and then when it sees the CSS, it actually parses it into global classes, which can then be accessed with some, you know, something like I don't know what the exact global is, but like, you know, global dot, you know, maybe native styles dot and then like container or something, right? And then it can use those styles how it sees fit. So there are ways to just add more CSS. I think native wind is pretty fantastic because it gives you that ability to use class name, declarative styles, and it has CSS parsing. So it's technically pretty agnostic to Tailwind. Like if you were to switch Tailwind out for a different styling library, then that would also work. Actually, I think Mark Lawler already did this with like Panda CSS or something of that nature. The reason why Tailwind is pretty good default is because even with all of these like, you know, like CSS parsing, class name, and more styles, there's still no cascading. And so mixing with Tailwind works pretty well because Tailwind tries to avoid cascading as much as possible. So it kind of adds this extra layer of rails on top of styling. Anyway, it's a convoluted, messy, like we just need to keep adding stuff. There's lots of room to add, plenty of improvements. So excited to see styling improve more. And as we'll see, I think, especially with server component stuff, that there's just, it's going to be very easy to go from nothing to a lot of data streamed onto the page. And then it's like, how do you style that data? Let's see, SDK 52 blog post. Yeah, check out the SDK 52 blog post. What I mean is the new native version could be a PWA. Yeah, I don't really, like, we can get into why, we'll get into some of the, like, this versus PWA, I guess, later. The main thing is that, like, PWAs are just limited. And right now we don't have any limits. So like we can add whatever we want to this. We can add home screen widgets. We could add quick actions. Like even in its current state, this is a native app. So we could add, you know, like proper native notifications, not like the web thing. Lots and lots of functionality that you just don't get with PWAs. If you did somehow figure out how to get them with PWAs, the vendors would probably figure out a way to block them. So like this, you just kind of have to, you know, play to the level of the referee in some regard. So let's see. In here, what do we got? Let's get back to it. I get antsy when I stop coding for a minute. So we got games, and it's getting cut off here at the head. So same deal as before. Content inset adjustment automatic. Oh, it had it for me. Auto scroll indicator. Okay, there we go. Should fix that. Let's just load this in here. All right, so we have that. Now we need to get rid of the games thing. Let's try just getting rid of this inside of the page header, so we don't have to do it every time. And, oh man, okay, I know people are gonna hate this, but whatever. We'll just do like, is DOM internal. You should never do like a condition before a hook. This condition never changes, so it doesn't matter too much, but you should definitely refactor instead of doing that. Anyways, that gets rid of it for all of these. So now all of them should have none of the header. Let's do the blog header real quick. Okay, this one's going to be, I think, a bit meatier. Just analyzing what we got here. Honestly, this is less meaty. I said it would be meatier. This is far less meaty. Like this page, this blog route that we have here, we could probably just convert this to native, like like right now. So let's try that instead. Let's just delete the use DOM directive, and then let's just create two versions of it basically. So say like app web, and then line item, and then over here we could have like line item native. I just find when I'm like doing this refactor, it's a bit easier to just create two versions and then like delete code instead of trying to like make them universal all at once. So you'd say like if process.m.expo.os equal to web. We don't even need that like that other thing that we had before. We just do that line item native. Okay, let's delete app web. Don't need any of that. In line item native, let's just change these. Let's import Expo HTML elements for some of this. So we do Expo HTML elements. What do we got here? We got div, we got ul, li, span, b. All right, looks good. Let's try changing these over. So div, ul, li, div, span, b, span, span. All right, and we're not using native wind. If we were, then all of this would probably just work. But let's just try to keep this a little bit agnostic for right now. So switch over to this blog tab that we've got. And that didn't update. I don't know what's going on with the reloads today. Okay, so yeah, we have this H1 issue with the header. And that's because, okay, we're pulling this in and we're saying like, if is DOM, then return. But we should also say, let's see, or process.m.expo.os is not equal to web, then return null. Right? That should give us kind of what we want here. And I would imagine that's what we want, but it's all in dark mode. And this is the problem with developing in dark mode, is that you don't get to see your content until you update everything. So let's try adding some styles. Yeah, we can't add it to the class. So even like here, we were talking about cascading. So we got div and we're setting the text color, but you just can't do that in React Native like properly. So we have to move this up to the text elements like span, and then we could say color. And then I've got this Tailwind extension, so we could just copy the color that Tailwind was using. And now we see our text come onto the page. What else do we need? I think we need it in here. Okay, and we've got our dates, times. And then we need this border to move over. Let's get this to like scroll first. So let's change this div to be a scroll view. Set the styles. Since we have the class stuff here, I think like, yeah, Tailwind just already knows. Wait, no, gap 4 is not 4. It's like 16 or something. And then, yeah, we don't need any of that. Okay. Save that. All right, so now we have some scrolling, and then same deal as before, content inset adjustment mode. I really wish we could like figure out a way to make the scroll view just do this automatically. Like we need a body scroll view or something, which when placed, it's almost like it could be something in React Native screens, like import body scroll view from screens. And then if it's the child of like a header, it can automatically adjust its insets. What is this other thing, like indicator? All right, there we go. So now we've got that. We just need to clean up the styles here. And this is like some of the beauty of DOM components, right? Is that these other pages, right? Like they're in web, but here we can just, just migrate it over to native. It does help to use some library like this, so you're not like thinking about view and text. Like we could think about view and text later if we want. But for now, we're just trying to get things moved over as quickly as we can. Text default is not a thing. Don't know what I was thinking there. Usually whenever I work on this project, I try to just be as messy and as quick as I can, just to emulate, real life where you've got deadlines. I mean, even today we got deadlines. I got stuff to do later today. Padding 16. Transitions, colors, ease out. So a lot of this other stuff is for the hover state. Like this changes when the hover state's there. We got rounded large, that's for the hover state. And we'll want those if we go like full universal. But for now, I think this is fine. Just want to push the content over. It looks like this element by default is hidden. And then when the screen is over 768 pixels, then we show it. So let's just turn this off for now. And that gives us this. And then the span is supposed to be some sort of divider. Divider pushing, okay. Oh, look at that, okay. Okay, that's not bad, all right. Border style dotted does not work. If you have like border bottom width, I think you have to set this to like just border width and then you get the dotted style, but yeah, annoying. So we will just not use dotted style and then we get our div thing. Let's take a look at this. I don't think we need that min width thing. This is kind of floated to the bottom here. We should push this to be more towards the middle. Who's the parent? You're the parent. Center. Nope. Maybe just do height. Style sheet dot hairline width. Okay. Oh, background color. Okay, now we've got like a little divider in there. Just delete some of that. Actually, I kind of want to keep that for when we go fully universal in the future. Although when we go fully universal, I'll probably just go over the native one so that we can keep these styles. Declarative styles, very nice. Also prevent hydration issues. So now it looks like, yeah, we got some of that kind of going in there, just kind of dance its way to the middle of the screen. Let's move it back. And then I think if we click on these, we should get an issue. Yeah, so let's migrate over the blog posts as well. So we got blog posts, right? And we couldn't do this because we got the generate static params. So we kind of need to split this one out into two parts. So let's do like blog post route.tsx. Oh, what? Huh. Okay, well, let's do like blog. I don't know. Yeah, I'll just do post route, I guess. Post route.tsx. I guess I took the name already. Okay, post route. And let's see like what we need to split out here. So we got blog head. And everything in here, even though this is super web looking code, this all technically works because we're using Expo router head, and that just automatically shims these when they aren't supported. So all of this should be fine. I don't know. So use local should be fine. Full screen, I think that'll be good. I don't know what's going on in there. Font should be fine, I think, because it's Expo font. Okay, we're using a text element, blog head, stack screen. Okay, cool. Oh, have I already split this out? Oh, okay. This is already, okay. Losing my mind here a little bit. Okay. What did I have here? Post route? Okay. I mean, so there might be other content in here. It looks a little repetitive. But we might just be able to do that. So it's been a while, I guess. Okay, that's pretty sick. All right, not bad. I think all we're missing here is the styles. Global.css. Oh, that is awesome. Okay, nice. So we have the list of everyone over here using Expo running inside of Expo on iOS. That is not bad. Nice. What happens if I click one of these? Okay, some sort of error. Redirection URL with a schema size. Okay, whatever, we'll figure that out. Sweet. Can we just open any one of these? Oh man, this is awesome. Okay. Oh god, I love DOM components. So good. Because again, like unlike the traditional like web view approach, like where you're kind of digging yourself into this hole that you need to get out of some point, it's like here, the deeper I go, the more native it's getting. So it's like it's selling me more on this idea that this website does actually make sense as a native app as I'm doing it, which is pretty sweet. It's really it's kind of in a league of its own in terms of like this kind of developer experience I'm feeling here. What happens if I click some of these links? Okay, so it looks like it's just linking out. Nice. Okay, let's fix the header cutting off here at the top. And the way that we should do that is, actually, do we want to fix the header? Yeah, let's give it the big header. I think the alternative is we could just make it not have a big header, but yeah, we already got it here, so we might as well just pull it in. What are we doing for games? Just copy all this. Probably makes sense to make some of these the default, like maybe these media playback ones. I don't really understand why Ammo would want the view pop up for the videos. Maybe on Android it makes more sense. Okay, sweet. So now we got our big header. I mean, that big header does help. All right, so it's a little weird because you have this big header and then it kind of matches like what's in the small header here. You almost want it to be like, to kind of fold into itself. Maybe we could do something where we make the header just only this big thing, although you can only have one line in here. I'm just gonna get rid of the big header. We don't need any of that on this page. It's a little overkill. So let's say blog/post, then options, header large, title false. Sure, just make it say blog. Okay, cool. I think that's like a little bit better. We can come back to that later if we have a better idea, but it's probably good enough. Let's give some of these other ones like some titles. So we do titles. Let's just go blog/index, call it like read. Actually, let's just call it blog. We can be esoteric later. Games, and then index home. Sure, I'll give it that one. And then instead of here, let's do options, titles route. Okay, man, fast refresh needs a little bit of sanity pass here. Oh, okay, so it wasn't even up. Okay, what is going on here? Okay, right, it just needs to be blog. Okay, got it. There we go. Fast refresh is fine. This is the thing, man. Even when you work on the dev tools, you still blame the dev tools, even when they're working just fine. So yeah, we've got all this stuff working now. What happens when we click on one of these games? Oh, okay, that is maybe undesirable. Because, I mean, it's cool that we can play like Cross Your Road right here in our thing, but how do we go back? We don't have like a system for going back. Let's just open this in like a web browser because it's just a website, like an external website. So the way that we can do that is let's pass in like open external URL. Well, so we give it a function, and then let's pull in Expo web browser. I think I'd like tried something with auth here earlier. So yeah, we have Expo web browser. And then we can just do open browser async URL. So let's add this function. This is like one of the most magical things inside of DOM components, this ability to just pass in functions, which can then be used to invoke native functionality. And then let's pass this to the grid item. Probably we'll just use a context for this, but whatever. Open external URL. Add the type here, open external URL. Okay, and then inside of our link, let's say, oh yeah, okay, perfect. On click, if is DOM, then do these. So basically we could, I mean, just do these without the is DOM wrap. That's the opposite of what I wanted to do. And now let's reload the app. We should have, oh, open external URL can't be found. Did we not destructure it out? We destructured it out here. Did not do it here. Got to listen to TypeScript when it talks to you. Whoa, okay, well, that's not ideal. Oh, on click. Bro, on click isn't a thing. Never mind, ignore TypeScript when you force it to break. Okay, open external URL, still not a function. What have we got going on here? Oh, we didn't save the file, of course. Let's try saving the file as well. Play now. Okay, and now we've got our web browser launching and opening. So we've got this bad boy and we can close it. And it looks like it can turn white and it can be dark. So let's make it so that it can't be bright colored because it's a little jarring. And then I think there's also some better styles that we can do. So let's go controls color, toolbar color. It's a black. Controls color white. Let's launch it again. Okay, yeah, that's better. And then I want that like modal thing. How do we do that here? Web browser dot presentation style. Okay, I don't know why. I feel like automatic is the right option here, but I also feel like automatic would be the default. Why is it not the default? Okay, whatever. Okay, so now we have this modal, which feels a little bit more, iOS-y. Got that going on there, and we can like play a video game, and we can close out and play a different video game. So that is pretty neat. But if I'm not mistaken, we left the no is DOM wrap. So I think if we go over to our website, which by the way, still going strong here in the background, then this is going to open in a little window here, which isn't like so bad, but it's also a little goofy. So let's just have that continue to be a redirect. So we could say, if not is DOM, right now it opens a new window, which is preferable in my opinion in web. I kind of want to like build this web browser functionality in, have it be like underscore external, and then it will like show a web browser instead. But then like, how would you access the options for the web browser, which we clearly, wanted to do just now. So now, yeah, let's take a look at the Git real quick. I mean, it is pretty sweet. Like we migrated this. This is a pretty, this is a reasonable kind of website app situation we've got here. We've got like basically every screen migrated over now, and that did not take too much code to get working right. Like not bad. Migration to native, work in progress. Save all that. Let's take a look at some of the comments here. Hey, Evan. Oh, hey, what's going on, guys? Pop-up window idea is pretty smart. Oh, sweet. You're the best word made ever. Okay, nice. Proper tab icons and titles. That is a good point, Nick. Let us do that right now, actually. It is also driving me crazy. And also this tint being blue. Let's change that one to like white or something. Header tint color. Let's go white. Got some white up in there. Yeah, change those tints down there to white and then give them some tabs. So what I like to do with tabs is we actually shipped some new components inside of the default template. Let's just pull those in. So if we go to Expo, templates, go default, and these are all in 52. But we now have this UI folder and it has like SF symbols, so like Apple icons, and then it also has this like blurry tab bar background. So let's just copy, save some of that. App layout, tabs. Okay, and this is how we're using it. So let's save some of it. I really want the haptic tab. I love using haptics. Makes your app feel just like, so much polish. Need the polish. Screen. Let's go index. Options. header, tab bar icon. Okay, let's pull in these components that we did. I do things in kind of a weird order here. Sorry, guys. Just try not to show off too much of what we got going on in case there's any secret releases. UI. Just open those up, copy them into here. Sure, reveal in Finder. Just drop in those UI elements. I mean, these are all like pretty good. So we've got SF symbols with some fallback to material. Got some blurry tab bar, system Chrome material. And then you have some shim for Android. So yeah, let's see how we're using that over here. Tab bar icon symbol, perfect. And just pull in title. For the tab, let's call this like hello, something nice, quaint. Pull in our icon symbol, house fill. I mean, that seems like it'll work. Okay, there we go. So we get our hello world thing. Let's change the tint color, tab bar, inactive. I want the active color. Change it to like white. There we go. Actually, it's this house, but I kind of want something like SF. So you can open up the SF symbols beta thing. And then do we have like a hand of some sort? Hand raised? Oh, we have hand wave. There we go. One thing I noticed with the native tabs is that they all use this like filled icon automatically. So that is technically the more native look. Let's go with the hand. Let's do these other two. Let's go blog. And let's go games. Let's call that play. Blog. Read. Hand wave. Blog. Do we have like a book of some sort? Okay, book fill. Not bad. All right. Swing back in here, book fill, and then games. Let's see, like what's the most game? Oh, perfect. Game controller. Apple icons, man. A lot of good ones. Seeing some notifications bounce up here in Slack. Let me just check those real quick in case there's something like wrong with the stream. Yeah, go game controller. All right, now we got our read. I don't know, like it could have been a cool moment. We could have clipped it when we added all these effects, but I got distracted. Anyways, hello, read, play. So now we have some tabs in there, looking good, looking fresh. Pop that, go back to the top. But let's add our haptic tabs as well. I will not be able to feel or experience these because I am on a simulator, and you guys especially will not. But maybe we could just publish this to test flight. Maybe that'll work. Haptic. Give me the haptic tab. No haptic tab. Oh, it's just in this components / haptic tabs thing. Okay. Well, let's pull it in. Haptic tab. Where is haptic tab? Okay, that'll do. That will do. So we'll just do like an impact light when we touch the tab in. I think that's good. Yeah, that'll work. Haptic tab. Okay, well, seems like that should be fine. And now we have haptics. Just got to kind of trust it on this one. Let's see, what else can we do here? We can make the header blurry. So my reference for this is just on GitHub. I've got this like DOM components canary example, and this app feels actually like pretty native, even though I kind of left it like on the fence so that it would feel like a little bit more webby, but feels pretty good regardless. So just copy some of these in. Header transparent, blur effect, shadow visible, large title, We got this hack here. I haven't tested if this is still needed for React Navigation 7, but it seems like it. And I got platform color. Man, I do not love the platform color API. I wrote this little helper library for using platform color. Expo install app Bacon's Apple colors. And this just makes it so that like you can use the same colors on Android and on the web, and then in Expo Go on Android, which just makes it like a little bit easier to do this like migration. Not saying that you should use Apple colors for everything, but like it's definitely nice that like when you use stuff, it just keeps working, and then you can like, you know, finesse it. Like right now, everything works here. I could ship this to the store. The only reason I'm still working on it is because I want it to look really good. System group background color. So just delete that one. Oh, the only problem with this is that React Navigation, the types do not support the React Native opaque color type. But that seems easy enough to fix. Fix that later. Okay, cool. So now we do have like a bit of a blurry background tab going, or background header going on here. So not bad. I kind of wish that this would just go to like full black when it's in the like expanded position, but that seems fine for now. In fact, let's check this out on the read section. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All the content flowing behind it. I'll try to do the same with the tab bar. Better navigation. Commit changes. All right. Tab bar, where are you at? You're getting blurred. How do we do the blurry tabs? I don't even, oh, I mean, I guess, yeah, we use it in this templates thing. So let's just follow what we do here. I do think that blurry tabs should just be on by default somehow. Like I would love to do it with Expo Router. So it looks like, yeah, we need tab bar background. And then we need for the style specifically to set position absolute on iOS so that it can float. And then we need to like push every screen, like add like some bottom padding to every screen. So a labor of love, a labor of love. Tab bar, blur tab bar background, sure. Platform, sure. I mean, I prefer to use this new like Expo OS one instead, just because it'll work better with like server components. And then also like it absolutely unequivocally always has code removal. So the platform one can be a bit iffy because like in Babel, you have to check if the platform came from React Native, which can change based on like code transforms, right? Like this could be, you know, something like require React Native, and then this could be like React Native, and then you do like React Native .platform, and then Babel just doesn't know how to find that, and then it doesn't remove the code. So when you use this platform OS, it absolutely like it just that's a straight lookup, and then when it bundles for iOS, it does iOS, and then the minifier does true, and then it does true, and then it removes this, and then it removes that, and then you're left with exactly that. That might not look like a lot when you're doing the single object, but when you scale that up to doing like imports and tree shaking, it can have a pretty meaningful effect, especially in projects like this, where we literally have one here at the top. So when we bundle, we could be removing all of this unused code. Specifically, I mean, we're not even using that anymore, right? Like we dropped the background thing. Save that, and now we've got our blurry tab bar here at the bottom. So we can see some code behind it, but it should have a problem where, yeah, it cuts off the code at the bottom, like the content at the bottom. So we need to bump all the content up a little bit. And that's going to be kind of a pain because the context that has the tab bar lives on the native side, and we need to like marshal it over to each DOM component. There's ways that we could like automate this more in the future, but that's just how we do it today. So inside of here, let's just start with the top tabs. So obviously here, we need to fix that. Const, let's do padding bottom, assign use bottom tab overflow. And this is just a hook that we copied over with our UI components. And then content container style, padding bottom, padding bottom. That should give us. Cool. Now we've got our padding bottom there. But also, I mean, we can't really see it too well here, but the scroll bar is getting cut off a little bit. So let's do scroll indicator inset, and then set the bottom to padding bottom. Okay, so I mean, yeah, again, we can't see it here too well because there's not a lot of content to scroll, but it does, it looks like it does block off now. Inside of the games, need to do the same bit. Content's a little cut off at the bottom. Games. So let's do padding bottom, use, what is that, bottom overflow. And then we just pass this through as padding bottom, I guess, yeah. Man, it is a bit of a pain, but every time we get to use marshaled props, I am so happy that marshaled props and DOM components exist because it's so much better than the alternative of like sending messages and like having like typing is so great. So we could do style, padding bottom. Awesome. Okay, so we got our padding bottom in there. We probably also need to do the same thing with the indicator. Can we do that with these? It doesn't look like React Native Web View supports the indicator insets. So we'll just leave that like that. I mean, it's not too much of a problem because we've got this like dark indicator. We should probably have a light indicator, to be honest. Also, we can't set it to be a light indicator. Or maybe we could do that on the web side. Just can't do it on the native side. But we do see like web content just blurring underneath our bar and above our top bar. So that feels very native, which is super nice. So we've got that on this one. Now we just got to do, let's see, this tab. Yep, the FAQ button's cut off. All right, same deal, padding bottom. Actually, is there a, and I don't want to risk it. I don't think it. Okay, we'll just pass padding bottom through like we did before. As a number. All right, there we go. Now we got that one. I think there's only one more to do. It's just at the bottom of these blog posts. So let's pop into one of the blog posts. I think it's in like blog post route. Okay. And then, oh, cool. Make sure I already have this padding vertical. So let's just do like, yeah, padding bottom is going to be, let's just do this plus 24. Give it whatever it had before. And then we need to pass it through. Pass it through above the condition. Overflow. Okay, cool. All right, money. Let's see it. Perfect. Okay. So now it looks like all of our routes work as intended. Honestly, I do kind of want to move the index route back to the middle. I like that a bit more. Something about it was a little quaint. I know that's like kind of bad practice and it's like, oh, ooh, bougie, but this isn't like a very serious app. I mean, kind of is, but yeah, whatever. So now we got hello right in the middle, very symmetrical. And we got our blog posts over here. Can scroll to the bottom. Everything else all blurry, looks good. Games, all that look good. So yeah, not bad. And then we get this, let's see, FAQ. Okay, so that's neat. This FAQ, okay, so there's a screen here that we forgot to take care of. Let's get to that one. FAQ screen. I don't really know what's going on with the head here. Let's just split the head out like we did before. Do we need structured data in there? Probably not. Okay. FAQ head. Split this out, move it over here, split this out, move it over here. Oh, I see. So the problem is, I guess, maybe we don't have, I mean, it's hard to see what the issue is with the header large title. We can like remove it, but it looks like there's some issue with the helmet instance which could just be because like maybe Expo head isn't supported correctly in DOM components. I can investigate that later. Fix Expo head and DOM components. Although Expo head's also kind of going away because it's going to be a we'll just use React 19's new float system where you can just put meta tags anywhere and they just float to the top. Don't know how we'll do that on native yet, but we will figure that out. So we don't really need any sort of head elements here on DOM. Okay, perfect. We just got to fix the top and the bottom. Actually, do we? Okay, here's an idea. What if instead of pushing this as a screen, we made this a modal? So go in here, layout native, add a new screen. FAQ, header large, shadow false, FAQ, and then we'll do presentation modal. Save that. Okay, look at what is going on there. Why is it all white? Is it a card style of some sort? Huh, interesting. Very interesting. Oh, okay. I see. It's just using like the system background color. So it switches, and then we're using like system background. Okay, so what we should do is just lock it so that it can't change. It can only ever be dark mode, which looks like we already do. So maybe it's something in Expo Go where it doesn't support locking to only dark mode. Who knows? Who knows? Anyways, we'll check this again when we're in the dev client build. So looks like we have some blurry elements here. We just need to adjust the scroll. So we still have to adjust it even though we did the thing. Just split this out a little bit. FAQ route.tsx, pull that out. And I mean, this one is another one that's prime for us to just migrate completely over to native, right? Like it would not be that hard. Yeah, this page, by the way, just exists to test SEO. I'm not actually this vain. You know. Okay, so we split this out a bit. We can delete this, actually just delete all this. In fact, since we split it out, we could keep the FAQ head, and then we don't need to do the whole is DOM check there. Just do that. And then we could even keep the page header there, to be honest, but we don't need to. Let's do the FAQ. Let's delete the head from the DOM component, delete this one. Actually, I kind of do want to just split it out that way. Okay, just like really reduce what's in the DOM component and move it all over to native when possible. Because now, yeah, we can like really reduce what we need inside of the DOM component. It's pretty good. Not bad. Oh, right, I meant to rename this. Okay, so this is FAQ. Sure. Let's do the one that we're doing in games. What do we get here? Some of that. Actually, let's do all of that. Wait, no, because we don't have a tab bar here, so we don't need the padding bottom. Never mind. Thank you, almighty modal. Delete some of that, some of that, some of that, and some of that. Let's see how this does. Let's make sure the FAQ route's all saved. Let's save this. Give me something. What do we got here? Just reload it for good luck. See what we got. All right, perfect. Cool. I mean, there's some weird padding going on down here. We could just like, I guess we could fix that. Space. And this like about markdown. So this is just like a markdown file. Okay. Oh man. So the thing when you're just migrating, right, is like you try not to question too much of the previous decisions. You just stay focused, otherwise you get too distracted. What do we got here? Margin top, space Y. Where's the padding? Oh, padding 4. P4. Okay, let's do just PX4. Perfect. Fix that padding up. And now we're good. So now we got our FAQ page, and that is pretty sweet because again, we didn't have to update the link here. So like, I think for this FAQ, like, let's see, frequently asked questions. Yeah, we literally just have a markdown file here. Like the intro, this page is a markdown file. And then we're just doing like a link here with /FAQ. And then it knows, because I think in our markdown theme, we changed the links from anchor elements to be Expo router link elements. And because it's Expo router link element, the DOM component knows to send that navigation up to Expo router to handle it, which gives us this native navigation, even though we're moving through two distinctly different web contexts, which is pretty sweet. So now I think we're in a pretty good spot. Let's add some like just extra, because we're coming up on like 90 minutes here. I still got some in it. We can keep going. We can go all day, to be honest. But let's see. Oh yeah, let's go over that. Like, well, first let's commit. Getting ahead of myself. FAQ page, sure. Commit changes. Let's go over this like checklist that I have for delightful effects. So we got loading states. Doesn't really apply here because we're doing everything like pre-baked at build time. Quick actions. We can do some quick actions. Multi-app icons, maybe. Apple settings. I mean, sure, that one's so goofy. We could add a widget, head and handoff. We might actually have a lot of the head stuff working because we kept all the Expo head things in. We could check on that later. Use AVIF, I think we're already doing that. Make T3, or make the tint colors use P3. Not super applicable here because all of our tint colors are like whites. If you guys aren't familiar with P3, that's like the wide gamut color space that like most devices use now. The default is to like lock it to this more dull color. So if you're using like blues, greens, cyans, purple, stuff like that, you're gonna wanna use something like this Apple Colors library to use just the full capability. Really make like the purple on your screen look like a physical real life purple. I digress. Tab navigation effects and long presses. So yeah, we should do some of that. So like when you hit the hello, it should scroll to the top. Same with the like read, things of that nature. And then when you like, I think there's already some of it in here. Like when you click that, it goes up. Oh, also another one I'm seeing here is that there's just no touch effect for these buttons. So let's fix that one right now. Let's go to blog.index, link item native. Let's just go touchable opacity. Now, touchable opacity, not always great. But because these are text elements, I think touchable opacity works really well. So let's do as child. And now we have some touch effects. Yeah, so I think touchable opacity is good if you have like some text that you're touching. But if it's something like one of these cards, I think it's better if like when you touch it, it like scales down and kind of bounces up a bit. So, I mean, yeah, maybe we could do that too. Let's make sure that these actually go somewhere. Okay, they do. So we got that touchable effect. Let's do some touchables over here. Games, TSX, games route. Well, actually, this is all still in web. I think we should convert this to native and then add like more touchable effects. All right, what else do we have in the gloss checklist? Navigation effects, definitely good. Context menus, also fantastic. Maybe for another time. Haptics and tabs, we've got that. And the buttons and the hero actions, like pull to refresh. I have an example like that. There's no pull to refresh in this app though. But if we add it, I would definitely pull in that like CH engine where like as you pull it, the haptic effect gets like tighter and tighter. It kind of feels like stretching a rubber band. Great effect. I took it from the Arc browser app. Move off touchable opacity for non-text items. There we go. Hover effects, more of a web thing, and this is already made for web. SF icons, we got those. Dark splash screen, text selection color, another web thing. Let's move those together. So, oh, okay. So one thing that I saw the other day that I like is you have these like text effects when you select text inside of a web view. So if we like pull that, then you get this like pop-up. You can actually change these UI menu views, so we should change those. Let's go blog post route. Okay, all this is the web view. So let's change all of the text effects inside of this block for Yeah, text selection. Getting a little dry over here. And then I'll look at the comments and all that. So yeah, what are the menu items? Okay, so something like, is this actually typed? Do we have some types here? We do not have types here. Damn. There we go. Okay, what do we got? Menu items. Okay, so we should do copy, classic one, and then the other one we should do like X or something. Like you can just tweet it. So just do the X logo, just because Expo has like X logo has this like ASCII thing. Okay, menu items is not that. It needs to be, what does it need to be? Key label. Okay. Key, copy, label, copy. All right, so now I think if we select our text in here, come on, give me some text selection. Let's just reload that maybe real quick. Okay, yeah, so now we have this like copy button and an X button. So we need to handle them. So like if you do X, we should like open the text that you selected and like tweet it with a link. I think the text selection is a little wonky in the simulator. But anyways, and then if you do copy, we should copy. So let's see, menu, on custom menu selection. It's gonna have like a native event, yep, of course. Key is equal to copy, then do like, yeah, clipboard, set string. I know this is deprecated, you should use a different one, but it works, so we will use it. Select the text. Native X is X. Then let's do linking dot open URL. Actually, let's just use router instead. I think one's like a little bit smarter about these things. Okay. Oh man, look at that. We even have like full typed route support for everything. Oh man, I love Expo Router. But what we actually want to do is go to Twitter, or sorry, x.com. I think there's like a way to compose a tweet. Yeah, all right, I think that does it. So tweet, tweet, tweet. Yeah, whatever. Expect error. I guess doesn't know how to handle the HTTP things. So now let's try this. Copy. Should be fine. Let's just tweet, I guess, this section here. Dang. Text selection in the simulator is not fantastic. Okay, let's just tweet a single word. Can we get it to show up for a single word? Any word. Oh man, simulator, why are you doing this to me? Okay. One time, just give it to me one time. Oh man, okay. Look, we got the wrong cursor. Okay, maybe I have to reset the simulator. I'm sorry if this is like frustrating to watch and I'm doing something like super wrong. Let's just, yeah, reopen the simulator. I think it's like gotten into a bad state here. Close this out. Okay, go over here. Proposals. Okay, there we go, whatever. X. Open X, let's go. Oh, cool, there we go. And it has taken us to a tweet page where it has the word RFC and a tweet thing. No one will probably ever use that, but it's the little things that count, you know. So now we have a custom copy button and a custom tweet button inside of our blog posts. So let's save that. Yeah, custom menu items. No, just commit the changes. I don't like what is open. Oh, this checklist. This layout. We don't need the layout. And then this to-do list thing, whatever. Okay, cool. Let's add a quick action real quick. Or yeah, let's make a dev client. We'll give that a try. And I can like, yeah. Okay. Let's just switch over to full terminal for this bad boy. So I prefer to do some of these. So let's do yarn expo run iOS. Nervous. Let's give it a try though. That is probably not good. Okay. Using a different beta version of React Native with a different beta version of Expo. But we can give it a try and we can see how it goes. Installing CocoaPods. I'm just gonna leave my computer unattended, go to the bathroom. I mean, yeah. So actually, you know what? No, let's check out what we got here in the comments section. Can I just like hide the screen and just look at the comments? Doesn't look like I can. Let's see. I want that out by the end of the day. Yeah, I mean, let's throw it to test flight. Let's see if we can make it happen. Nothing short of amazing. Yeah, Nick, you are too kind. Have native custom options. Yeah, it's all of the classic moves. See, it's like I think like everyone, if you want to make like a really good app, you should sit down and like just create like a list of like polish techniques. I hate calling it a polish list because but yeah, polish techniques. And then like whenever you go through and you're just using an app and you're like, wow, this feels really native, like think about why it feels native, add it to your list, and then just like roll through and just go through that list. Super easy to do. And then like it's also easy to share that list of people. And then like for instance, you could share that list on Twitter. I could see the list and then I can add like config plugins to do those things. Transfix, but have to drop. Okay, yeah, thanks. Everyone should use DOM components if you just have a website sitting around, because again, I did not build this website at all with the intention of doing, like, I built it years ago and now it is like we're able to make it into an app that feels great. Light dark mode for both mobile and web. I don't really want to do light mode right now, so just gonna stick with the dark mode, although I'm realizing on the stream going with a dark mode only app probably just makes it kind of hard. So handsome, yeah, probably not. Let's see. Pop-up window ID is pretty smart. Okay, so we're going a little back in time now. Great. Answered, I think, everything. How are we doing on the build here? Still building, still going, but at least it hasn't failed yet. Actually, this is a great time to mention a new feature which has just landed in EAS. It's pretty sick. I mean, maybe we'll revert it, but right now, I think we'll keep it. And that is that we, in SDK 52, we will do the JS bundle before the native build instead of after it. So if you have like a JS error, you will see that exact error message instantly. I can actually show you guys what this looks like because it is awesome. So let's go to like, expo.dev. So I tried this just yesterday with 2 builds. So we got this failed build in here. Let's see. Actually, this isn't failed build. Where we got it. October 12th is also not yesterday. Here's the failed build. Okay, so yeah, I just canceled it. Okay, so you'll see here, basically, we have a missing library. Very obvious JS error. So before, this would be at the end of the Xcode build, and it would be super hard to see. But now we can just see it instantly and plainly. And if we look at a build that actually worked, so this one, oh, looks like our app is done. Come back to that. We look at a build that actually worked. You see, we'll bundle the JavaScript and then we'll do the build afterwards. So if it failed, it would have failed 6 minutes later. Well, about 6 minutes. And so here it's like, basically you don't have to worry about the native build doesn't start at all until the JS finishes, which is great because the majority of build failures, I think, are all due to JS related issues, because that's where you write the majority of your code. That's where all the code that we just wrote went. So Yeah, much faster failure states. Very excited about that. Anyways, check out our app. Looks like it is loading in here. All right, there we go. So now we got our custom dev client, and it is loading all the content. So everything is kind of flashing in. That's because we are loading on demand and bundling on demand as we need it. That is a feature, not a bug. And then in production, we don't do that. We bundle everything and embed it. I don't know what's going on here, though. It looks like it's having a little bit of a tantrum. My computer might be coming up on the amount of memory that it deems appropriate to use. Let's just restart the bundler. Okay, give that a shot. Okay. Fast refresh indicator, go away. That might be the issue with the different versions of React Native. We might want to fix that before we deploy. Okay, outside of this damn fast refresh indicator, everything else is looking good. Looks like we have the whole app here. So that is pretty fantastic because that means that we can, oh man, that indicator is upsetting to me. That means that we can add quick actions. So let's try updating. Let's just do, actually, okay, yeah, we'll do install -- fix, see how that works. Yeah, because there's a patch in there. So I bet that patch of React Native, maybe that fixes the refresh indicator. So let's just rebuild that again. And again, if people have questions, this is the time. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about more of my favorite EAS build shuffling. I mean, yeah, this is going to be so good. It was very hard to get this all working, but yeah. My favorite part of EAS build specifically, is that whenever things fail, they fail in a very thoughtful way, because it's like we hit a bunch of errors, and then when we find those errors, like especially because I do things like this on stream, and then if something fails, it's like, it's embarrassing. You don't want things to fail. So then we just spend a lot of time making it so that failure state is very predictable, it's explainable, and it makes a lot of sense like as it's happening. Okay, I'm gonna close that. The indicator is upsetting me too much. It is pretty sweet, though, that we were able to do all of this work inside of Expo Go. Like, we didn't even have to do the native build. We didn't need Xcode installed at all until like right now at the end where we're going to deploy. Like, we probably didn't even need Xcode for any of this. So yeah, really fantastic that Expo Go was able to, just keep working this whole time. Except for this, I guess because the server's closed. Okay, yeah, so some other effects that I have here for release notes. The section's also quite nice. Set the UI view controller to base status bar appearance. That just means that the status bar color on iOS will change automatically based on like when you open modals and stuff. And then we can set this ITS app uses non-exempt encryption to false, because we're not using any like non-exempt encryption. If you're building like some sort of custom wallet or crypto app, you might want to avoid that. So setting those just makes deployment a little bit easier. All right, yeah, so it looks like updating React Native did fix the fast refresh indicator bug. And what we're left with is something pretty slick, pretty nice. Okay, so let's add some quick actions and maybe send stuff to the store. Actually, okay, yeah, let's do Expo install Expo quick actions. Now, I haven't updated this library for SDK 52, so I don't know if it'll like work exactly, but we can try. So what should we do? Let's say inside of our root layout here, just import as quick actions from Expo quick actions, set items. Okay, yep, an array, obviously. Okay, cool. Do ID, I guess, 0. Title, open Evan Bacon. Yes, sure. icon. Let's do like a symbol. Let's just do the same symbols as we did for the tabs. So yeah, we can do, yeah, let's actually just do literally everything that we have in the tabs. It's probably going to be close enough. So we can do book fill. Okay, I don't love all this. Okay, let's do read, book fill, hello, hand wave, play, game controller. Okay, delete all this nonsense. Oh, and another thing we can do is we can actually pull in from router. Like we have this like router action. So if we set this to be a router action, now we'll get some type errors that ensure that we, I'm not calling that open and vacant. Let's call yeah, hello, SF, hand wave fill. And then yeah, these will ensure that we set the right types for launching directly into a deep link /index. Yeah, that's basically what we want. I mean, that's probably exactly what we want. Oh, sweet. Nice. Cool. Book fill, blog, games. I think it's actually, is that, yeah, /blog is probably good enough. Actually, we probably want that to be /blog, /games, play, read. And then let's add that like feedback one. So like, what is this like? Why does it keep going to this one now? Expo quick actions. What is this? Save users from deleting your app. Wait, don't delete me. We're here to help. Wait, don't delete. Let us help you out. Okay, yes, let's try that. Wait, don't delete. Exclamation point. Subtitle. No, this isn't a test action. Let us help you out. Okay, yeah. I'm always, whenever I spell lettuce, I just want to spell lettuce like the vegetable. Trash. Let's see if there's something other than the wave since we're using that one already. Maybe like a person. Yeah, like person bubble. Or this like one with 3 dots, people communicating. Yeah, let's try person bubble. I don't think, is SF the thing? No, it's like a symbol or something. Okay, we might have to update all these real quick. And then we'll do mail to, and then our email address. So we can do like bacon.expo.io. That should just automatically open that. I don't think these are correct. Yep, okay. Hand wave fill. I don't know where it got SF from. Is that really the convention I use? I don't know. Let's try that, give that a shot. We might have to rebuild. Oh, no, it works. Okay, cool. So yeah, we have our hello, read, play, wait, don't delete. Oh, that was fast. Okay. Fast and easy. Let's remove the hello one because that's like that's the route that you open when you open the app. You don't need a quick action for it. Oh man, it even opened it updated right there in the background. This is crazy, man. Expo is awesome. Read, play, wait. Okay, so I don't know if the deep links will like exactly work. Right. Okay, I think we have to set up a hook to handle them. Let's try that. Like use quick action routing. Maybe this works. This might be the part that we need to update for like SDK 52. So if it doesn't work, yeah, it doesn't look like it updates correctly. And then the mail one definitely doesn't work because you can't send emails from the simulator. Let's do the callback here real quick, and let's just debug this and see if there's anything we can do to quickly fix it. Where are we going to get our messages from? I think we'll get them in here. Actually opening that, play, and no messages. Okay, yeah. Looks like I just need to update the library for 52. But we have some broken quick actions, which puts us in a league of basically every other app on the store. Oh wait, no, it does work. Okay, whatever. Weird. Maybe some sentient, like some transient issue there. Okay, so we do have the blog thing. Okay, quick actions do appear to be working. Good. I don't want to touch anything because who knows? It's all these obscure Apple features, man. They're so finicky. Quick actions. Okay, let's send this off to the store. Let's just make sure everything is like good. One last pass. Like we have this weird app icon. We can fix that some other time. We got the background thing. Okay, it does look like the background color is properly black. So like we don't see the white flash when we switch pages. I don't know about the sideways thing. I just use that for testing mostly, but yeah, we can, whatever. None of this really matters that much. Let's just send her off to the store. Man, and that's always such a process, right? We got to do EAS build -- auto submit. And then let's do, we only did this for iOS. We can do this later. Oh, right. I was testing some staging functionality. So we will have to remove that staging functionality. Submit, iOS, not configured, configure it. And it does look like we need to install Expo System UI to get this like properly working. Let's just close this down and do that now. Expo install Expo System UI. So it'll do like the background color and make sure that that properly opens up and is black. And I don't want to keep doing the prompt. So platform iOS. All right, build, please just work. I don't want to have to, okay, cool, perfect. Reuse ID, provisioning, sending to EAS. Okay, let's see if that works. I mean, seems like it should. It is a Canary build though, so there might be some issues. Maybe we'll do it locally. I don't know. We'll find out. And we got our build details, which we can, oh, and it looks like we're creating the App Store entry. Looks like bacon is actually an already used name. Let's call this just like the bacon blog or something on the store. EAS submit -p iOS. Let's try that. See if we can like mitigate this. Okay, whatever. We'll create the App Store entry when the app is done building. Probably we should move this check to the beginning, but kind of hard because it requires some cookies off, and cookies off is fragile. But yeah, bacon blog. Oh, you know what we could do? We could try EAS metadata maybe. EAS metadata poll. Let's see if that creates it. Nope, doesn't have an app. Push. Doesn't have an app. Okay, never mind. Well, we can just do that again when we get to the actual submission part. Let's check the build, see how it's doing, spinning up the environment. Oh, another thing I like to do, just come in here and use the large workers. Resource class, large, so much faster. Worth every penny, so good. Actually, yeah, set them for all of them. Okay, let's turn to some questions while we watch this bad boy build. All right, can't we make iOS Cocoa Pods and the complaining more faster in React Native? Yeah, so like with each release, we make this a little bit faster. I think it gets a little bit slower with CodeGen, but yeah, definitely want to make this super fast. Like I think we can pre-build all the iOS code, and then when you actually go to build, like it should just link the code instead of compiling it, which could get the build times down from like, 30 seconds to 5 seconds, like super fast. Because like we just wrote this whole app, we didn't write any custom native code. So theoretically, everything that we use native code wise could have been pre-built by the developer before we sent it. which also improves these like CocoaPod install times and improves everything. So yeah, bullish, very bullish. Okay, let's see. Just saw the event on Discord. I'm late. Yeah, we'll have a recording for this. So, or at least I think we will. Otherwise, whatever. I'm just writing software. I do this all the time. Wondering if Expo Router can handle top tab navigation inside a bottom tab with a custom header component. Yes, it can. It can do everything you want related to views inside of your app. Oh, yeah, we got the eagerly bundling. So this is great. So before we even build the app, we can check to see if the bundle works. I actually think we could probably move this before pods too. So you get an extra 45 seconds off in case it fails. Oh, yeah, Dan's saying the recording will be on YouTube. And next, I have middlewares migrating to Expo. It's necessary a context. Yeah, so like, we got to figure out what we want to do for middlewares and like redirects. It's tricky because we do like this is all client side navigation. So I'm thinking is this is just my working thoughts. Oh, look at that. It failed early. Hell yeah. I'm so excited by the failures because an early failure means like look at this. Okay, this is actually fantastic. So we didn't have to wait for the whole build to complete. We got the failure right up front, and we can see very clearly that it's because I have some code that is get ignored that I am not including inside of the EAS build. So I have some secret code here, which we can now just include. I am thrilled by this. So this is a new 52 thing, and I'm so hyped. So yeah, let's just ignore this file. I think that's all we need, and then we can probably just EAS build again. All right, let's try EAS build auto submit platform iOS. Give that a shot. Such a complex script that it just like automates everything for us. So good, man. I am bullish on EAS build. It is like it's like motivating to know that you can like work on all this crazy stuff, and then like by the end of the process, the app will at least build and get to the store. And now, so it looks like Bacon blog name works, so we should have a submission job in place as well. So waiting in the queue, and the build will start soon. I'm just gonna go ahead and hit the bathroom while we're waiting for this. I'm gonna mute myself here real quick. What's up? Let's see if this build is still building. Looks like is that the build? probably. All right, 2 minutes, still building, installing pods, cool. Yeah, hopefully the thing, it's like these things happen where you'll have some get ignored code. This is going to happen actually, I think, more when we get into some of the new server stuff, because you're just going to be working with secrets, right? You're going to have like, if you're building an AI app, you're going to have a ton of secrets for third-party integrations. And so, yeah, although a lot of that falls into the .m stuff. So we should be able to have like some pretty good, like obviously the build should just never fail. And we're going to work to make sure that they never fail. But yeah, get ignored things happen. And it's just, I'm super happy that we can see the failures before the build instead of after it. Like for all of React Native time, it has always been after the build. So now when you do Expo run or EAS build, you're going to see it before the build when it's a production build, which is fantastic. Okay. I see a question here from Justin. This is sick. Automated testing perspective, Appium Maestro. How would you change with Expo DOM components at all? Any nuances? So actually, Maestro has web view support, and these are web views. So if we go to Maestro dev, they do have some stuff over here about, web views. Supports the web view. So the reason it supports the web view is because behind the scenes, what it does is it's using the like the app inspector, it's using the accessibility inspector. So that's going to be, what is that? Accessibility inspector, and then you can select your simulator, and then let's see, bacon process. And now if we go in here, so this is all web view, but you see you can still select the views like across the platform. And this is basically how it's doing, like how Maestro works, is they automate around this accessibility inspector to select views. And so we can see, even though games is a native view and we can select that and it works, we can also do that with some of these web view views as well. So yeah, all your automated testing should work the same as before. Maybe some like nuances to change, like just IDs for selecting and tagging, but should just work great. Maestro is a fantastic tool. They did a great job on that. Yeah, and like seriously, if you guys have just more questions, could be like anything related to React Native, hard stuff, like if I can answer it, I'm happy to. See, so I see, is it possible to create alias div as div, for example? Yeah, so that's kind of what we were doing before when we have div in here. So this is in Expo HTML elements, this library here, and I kind of want to, let's just resort these to the top. Actually, I think I can, just do that. So Expo HTML elements does give you some aliases. These are very, there's shallow aliases that just try to help with migrating from web to native. The meta team is working on their like a more upstream version of this library called React Strict DOM. Once that's ready, I would love to migrate more of React Native Web over to Strict DOM and just use that instead, because I think it's great for like migrating over. In fact, I saw this the other day when I was going through my Excalidraw, because you get like this Excalidraw and just keeps growing and growing and growing. I saw a diagram I had in here where someone asked me to like kind of explain the plan for incremental migration. Let's see if we got anything crazy in here. Let's just select this. I don't want to spoil things too much because, always get our surprise. So this was like from a long time ago, and like, I don't even, route-based migration from web to native. And so the idea here is that you could just do some web development, which is what we did today. You could have hybrid routes, which is the original like code name for DOM components, where you could mark use DOM on the top of your routes. I wrote this like at the beginning of the year. You could do, async native APIs, instantly deploy, everything like that. And then you could switch over to universal APIs like strict DOM or Expo HTML elements. Ultimately, we'll want to go more in the strict DOM direction, I think, just because we want one version. So you could migrate over. The benefit of doing something like this is that you could still be in the web space and you could understand like what the strict capabilities of strict DOM are. So you can see like which styles work and which ones don't work before switching over to native. And then you could just delete the use DOM, and hopefully your code just works natively. You could delete it, put it back in, yada, yada, yada. So this has kind of been like my migration plan for a while. And we're about, I guess here officially, but we do have the ability to do this with Expo HTML elements and really all of this. So yeah, this is like how you basically, because realistically, when you're building a product, I mean, it's not the same for every product, but especially for, something where you're like doing a lot of iterating, you want to find product market fit. And the best way to do that is to just put something out there and iterate as much as you can. And the web is a great way to do that. But it's in categories, like a ton of commerce categories, you'll see like m-commerce or mobile commerce really overshoot the e-commerce space. And because of that, it's like if you really want to sell things, you need, like proper native notifications. You need to like be on the home screen. You need like those engagement tools to re-engage users. And so it's like switching and starting over from scratch to get your native app is just not great. So as you can see here with this blog example, like this in the future, we should be able to do this, especially when we have our data fetching story with like server actions. We should be able to do this with like more complex examples that have whole databases and go like immediately with web, switch directly over to native and deploy to the store. So we're starting to see this vision really like truly come together. And I am ecstatic. Like it feels great over here. Let's see how the build's doing. Is this the build? Did it work? Yeah, it looks like maybe it worked. Okay. Got our whole build here. Uploaded to the store. Okay, it looks like it's submitting the build to the store right now. Okay, great. Is it possible to just use useDOM in your React app without using any other Expo features? So useDOM is an Expo feature. It's exclusively an Expo feature. Expo Router has some optimizations for useDOM. You don't have to use them together, but one constraint of useDOM is that you shouldn't navigate inside of a DOM component. It should just be a standalone single component. And when you want to navigate, you should do that through the native app. So Expo Router has some built-in affordances. You can obviously do this however you want because you can just marshal in navigation functions. But if you use the link element, the router element, those will navigate through the native app. And then you can do things like what we saw earlier here, where we're doing like here, where I hit play and then it like opens this web browser, right? Like that was much better than before where we were doing play and it was like switching the DOM component in a way that was kind of breaking and corrupting the state. Let's close the accessibility indicator. So yes, it's technically possible, but your mileage may vary. I highly recommend using DOM components with Expo Router. Let's see how we're doing on time. So we're coming up on 2 hours, but I mean, we gotta stay until the app is like submitted. And looks like it's going okay. Spinning up the submission worker. So it's taking about a minute just to spin up this worker. We gotta find a way to speed that up. Let's see, what other questions do we have in here? Is he streaming in 480p? I don't know. Maybe I am. I think it's like full definition. Let's see. There's nothing over here that says I'm. Might be just the stream quality, but we can check on that. Make sure it's good. Question here: you use the stock Apple terminal? Yes, I use VS Code, stock Apple terminal, and GitHub. I work like just my day to day. What I'm doing is I'm trying to make the developer experience for the average Expo user as good as I can. So that's why I'm like sometimes swapping between VS Code, Apple Terminal, GitHub. Like these are just the tools that we find are like the defaults that people are using, and so we want to, I want to feel like the exact experience that the users are feeling, so that I can optimize it. Like, because if I was using Vim and only like, maybe like some small fraction of the users using Vim, and then I wouldn't really like feel the same pain. And that can trickle in like little ways, right? Like if you write a new CLI tool and it's like, oh, my tools have like autocomplete in the terminal, so it doesn't matter how long the name is or how hard the arguments are to type, then that can cause this like skewed perspective. So it's good to have like a human-centered design philosophy, even on little things like CLI design. how you keep the commands short and keep the names memorable and all that. So yeah, it looks like the build's submitted to the store. We should have this in here. Let's see. Can I just do this off screen? Hopefully that works. Okay. Oh, come on. Oh God. Okay. Yeah. So it looks like we have that. We can do some of these. Submit the app. All right. Yeah. There it is. Processing. Processing for test flight. So yeah, I mean, we could submit this and try to get this on people's devices like ASAP. I have not run this on a physical device yet, so it may need some, a couple iterations, but we definitely get there. All right, Dan's letting me know that the stream should be 1080. You can hit settings, make sure your camera is set to 1080. Yeah, so I think the stream should be good quality. And Apple processing. It's like we built so much of the app way faster than it takes to just analyze the binary. Let's see what else we got in here. Just switching between things. I mean, I have my phone in like do not disturb mode. So yeah. All right. Looks like what is going on with this website, man? Apple, come on. I see a question. Will we eventually have partial pre-rendering? I mean, we'll have, like what other web frameworks are doing. I don't think Remix has partial pre-rendering. Maybe it does, but my plan with RSC, and this is all very tentative. Like I was working on it right up until we started the stream, like the exact minute, is like subject to change. But what I'm thinking is that we can roll out a server action. So we have server components, server actions. Like those are both in like a reasonable beta state. What we don't have is React Navigation doesn't support concurrent rendering, doesn't support React 19, and that's going to take some time to upgrade because we're going to have to do React Native screens, gesture handler, everything, get those all moved over. But the main benefit to doing that is that when you do routing between server components, there will be no waterfalls between the server and client. But the waterfalls, like that matters more for like really high-end use cases. And so that can come, I think, later. So I've been trying to negotiate what is going on with this website. I'm trying to negotiate around, like in my mind, like what can we do to just get users to data fetching as quickly as possible. And so what I think we could do is just server actions only. And what that would look like is basically all of your routes would stay client components and you'd still be able to use all of React Navigation. You would use React 19 and you would use concurrency in your architecture, which all that will be available in 52. But then when you want to do server components, you'll mark a file as use server at the top, and then you'll have server actions inside of it, which can render out server components and stream them back. Actually, I can show you kind of like what I was literally working on testing this like right before this started. So we could try October 30th, SAO, open this. Okay, so here's like what an example of this looks like. So I'm just here in the tabs example, and I have my index page from before, but now I can I've got React suspense, I've got my fallback, and then I've got this server action, which when we call it, just it renders the index page. So if we start this, sure. We'll try opening this up on iOS. This is all very experimental, again, very subject to change, but this is currently what I'm thinking for the next step in server component story. We open this, you see the loading page. It's loading the route on the server. it's much faster in production because, yeah, we're just bundling all this from scratch. And then we have the page. So the whole page, what is up with the accessibility inspector? Why is this accessibility inspector still open? Do not be open. Okay. What we could do is you see that this is the same interactive page as before, but now we're able to move all of our data fetching over onto this other route. I don't want to like spoil too much of this because I think we can like turn this into its own stream. But basically that could give us like a bridging tech, like a period where you can opt into server components through the actions. And then in the future, basically, even though nothing here changes, all of this should have been like just constructed at build time and then shipped offline. But with server actions, you don't have the ability to do that. All the server action stuff works more like SSR. So in the future, the next step would be to have full server component support, which is partially implemented already. And then like a custom version of React Navigation, which gives you like concurrent routing. And then you'd be able to optimize routes that never change and then bundle them and put them in the binary so that if you have something like, for instance, like a festival app, or not even a festival app, just like a schedule component where you're only making like one request to a CMS and then fetching the data and rendering it, we could do all that at build time. So now if you imagine like 1 million users making 1 million requests, now it goes down to just you, the developer, making one request and shipping it. Meaning server components apps would actually be more offline friendly than apps that aren't using server components. But I digress. Again, we can get into some of this more of this later. But this is all super exciting. Like the stuff you can do with server actions is ridiculous, is bonkers. So very excited to get that into the hands of users. You guys, developers, right? Like it's gonna be awesome. Let's see if the test flight tab is working. Give that a reload. It always kind of updates right there at the end when it doesn't reload. Like right now, if I were to reload, it would like the UI would show up. Okay, maybe not that time. Damn. Okay. Okay, looks like this is ready to submit. Let's try submitting it. And quick actions. Groups, do we have any groups? Nope. Individual testers. Existing testers, nope, none of that. Save, sure. I can never remember how to like actually fully submit this. We are ready to submit test information. Do we need to do all this? Bacon. I don't know. 8675309. And then like 512. Okay, yeah, bacon at expo.io. Save. Apple loves when you put like fake phone numbers in. But we're on stream here, and I get plenty of spam texts already. Complete test information. What else is there to complete? Do you guys see it? What am I missing here? I also feel like I don't usually have to do this. Okay, well, let's add where we have internal testing. Okay, team. Well, I just like internal. Distribution, then add the build. Okay, well, no, that's for submitting to the store. This is, I'm trying to do the test flight thing. I'll just add myself here. Let's see, but then how do let's add an external too. So external, add builds, build, next, feedback email at expo.io. Sign in is not required. It's crazy that sign in is required. Is like the automatic, like that's the default. With server actions, we can actually make like way better versions of Expo auth session where you can basically encapsulate the entire auth process for like self-hosting inside of a library and ship it. So I think that'd be pretty sweet too. I'll just enable this. Where's the link? Oh, public link. Create the public link, open to anyone. Yeah, let's actually we don't need to set a limit. Just confirm. It's like 1,000 people or whatever. Here's the URL. So you can just post that in the chat here. I mean, it won't be ready until Apple approves it, but that'll be the URL when Apple does approve it. If they approve it, when, if, when. Yeah. All right. So yeah, now it's waiting for a review. There's this thing, runway team app review times. What's going on? Runway team app review times. And you can see the current time. So right now it takes 9 hours for full review and about 9 hours for beta review, and then 22 minutes in review. So about 9.5 hours from now, that link will work and you will have access to this application. Also just gonna, I guess, push the code. I'll push the code like later tonight and then like, clean it up and all that. Actually, whatever, I'll just push it now. No, I'll clean it up later tonight and I'll send that later. Let's see, but I can just publish what we've got. So that's on if you want to, just if you're really eager to run it. But I think it's more interesting to run like the actual production build when that is production ready. But I can just install it on my phone. So you give that a try. Let's install it and then I'll stream it and we'll see how it goes. Just gonna open my mail real quick off screen before I share any more personal details of people who did not opt into being in my video. Okay, just got the invite. Can open it. All right, let's stream the screen. I will just close my screen, start streaming. Okay, nice work. Oh man, okay, there we go. So we got the Bacon Blog app. We can install it. What are these app details? Whoa, damn, it looks like I embedded every single asset inside of the app. Okay, well, probably we can not do that. That's probably a good idea to not embed every asset. Actually, let's take a look at that. So we can download the IPA here. And then let's just downloads. I think we could just change this to be .zip. Use .zip. Extract the zip. Where's the, okay, right in here. Payload, Bacon Blog, show package contents. And then we should be able to see the contents. Let's just get the app working though. Let's open it. Okay, looks like that works. All that's in there. Start testing. And then we have some content, but it looks like, what's going on here? Why is it? Oh, it's doing like some selection thing. Okay, weird. So it looks like the images aren't loading correctly. And then we scroll through here. All this looks pretty good. Can click on this. Universal links are important. Looks like it's loading some external content and that's not loading. So basically all the assets appear to not be like running as expected. Oh, these ones are working. Okay. So maybe just some problem with some of the assets, but not all of them. And then I can't tell what the margins are just due to this like little simulator thing or if that's like an actual issue with the app. But we can like peek into that because yeah, some of the margins here need to be like tightened up and aligned correctly. What about this Expo apps thing? This one looks pretty good. Like, so that looks like it's good. Man, can you imagine? Oh man, okay, I should not be submitting this to whatever. I mean, it's in there, it's happening. But yeah, okay. So overall, not terrible. But yeah, we do need to fix these images and see what's going on there. So let's do FAQ build. This all looks pretty good. Text selection is way easier to do with this thing than it was with the simulator. Let's see if we can actually, can we get this, the share button? Can we right click to get the share button? Okay, we cannot. I mean, interesting. I bet that's inside of the actual app, but not inside of the streaming, the mirroring. Okay, cool. So I think the only thing we have to do here, like what we can try is, oh, actually first, let's stay on tap. I want to check on the why it's so big. And I bet it's just the assets, right? Yeah, 204 megabytes. All right, so kind of funny that all the assets are included and the problem is that the assets are missing. So yeah, we see like we've got giant MP4 videos in here, basically every single asset, instead of fetching these from a server. Server components are going to make this, way better. But in the meantime, yeah, I think, what do we want to do here? We could move these to my CDN. So like where I'm deploying my website, we could fetch from there. That seems reasonable. But overall, it's also not like huge deal. I mean, it's just a big app. The main thing is that I wanted to make sure nothing was related to Expo. This is all related to tons and tons of assets in my app, which is not reading from like some sort of headless CDN. Like all this, the frameworks, like that's 4 megs. That's not bad. Looks like we have all of our privacy things as expected. JS bundle. The JS bundle is 3.9 meg. That's like nothing. And then I think we hit the DOM component bundles are probably bigger. Yeah, 245. So okay, that's where the problem is I bet we have copies from DOM components of all the assets inside of here. Yeah. Okay. So we'll need to optimize that and just like share assets a bit better. And I don't think that's like going to be too hard to do. So make a note about that, like share assets across DOM components. And then let's see, yeah, we need to fix the public assets on the home page and some of the blogs, some blog pages. I actually think I know what the issue is. This is in the Expo DOM components docs. And I mean, yeah, it's, say this slow, but we've got like 9.5 hours to kill. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, public assets. So we're working on optimizing this. What we need to do is like, I think what we need to do is polyfill the fetch and all the, like just polyfill all network requests inside of the web view to load from the local origin, if possible. Not impossible, a little tricky though. And so what we can do in the meantime is you can append this like Expo DOM base URL, and then that automatically kind of puts the assets in the right spot. So we can try this locally, like without going through the store, which would just be a little bit easier. So we go through index, home route, intro. I mean, this does make it a little bit trickier. Oh wait, no, because yeah, it's in the masonry grid. Masonry grid has the images. Oh, also another way around this is just to not use the public images and embed them. But as you can see, that's kind of heavy. So improvements on both sides. I'm like, this is in like full discretion. Like these are all of the issues that we're seeing with it as I'm dogfooding it right now. So yeah, we got some. Yeah, so I bet what we could do is we could just say like base URL is assigned. I think what we want to do is just like if this is DOM, to do this, otherwise do this, and then apply it like that. Let's just do that wherever we're using images. Images, source, base URL plus. Okay, let's try a local build of this. Run iOS -- configuration release. So this will help us just like test locally if our solution works. I'm gonna stop screen mirroring over here. What's going on? Okay, whatever. Screen mirroring is a little finicky. Oh man, okay. This feels like much better on the physical device than in the screen mirroring. We do need, whoa. Okay, one thing that we should definitely do is, well, do not turn do not disturb off. What? One thing that we should do is disable like selectables on the games route. So I have an example of that over here. Just keep it going, baby. We keep it going. Just keep going until the app is done. Yeah, this no select component. Let's just pull this in. This will just disable like text selection when running in a DOM component, which is a nice little like helper to have. No select.tsx, drop that in there, close that, save that. And now when we go to the games route, let's just export our no select. style. Okay, so that should disable all selection on the route which has all the games pages. Like we don't really want that in there. Switch off this, just move over to this. And actually, before we even do this, let's just delete the app so we like start from a totally clear empty base. And this app actually feels pretty good. I mean, problems aside, it's like not so bad. I think the problems are just on that masonry grid as well. Everything else looks fine. And this app might get approved. Like this is actually not bad. I think we could make this happen. So again, we're still just waiting for this build to finish so we can test if the public asset thing works as expected. Just checking for questions, seeing what we got going on here. All right. And if this works, then we could probably wrap up soon. Just, yeah, give you guys your Wednesday back. Because we are at about, I don't even know how long. It was like 2.5 hours. Yeah, 2.5 hours. Oh man, yeah, we need faster iOS builds, much faster. Like, why am I recompiling React Native? I didn't change any file inside of it, which is why it's fantastic that all this stuff works with Expo Go, because this is not the best way to start your development process. All right, any moment now. And then another thing I'm noticing is that we probably want some padding on the games. That was definitely not just in the app. So when it's in this like smaller version, we've got gap 4, gap 2 grid. I kind of want to say, let's do like PX2 maybe. Just give it a little bit of padding on the sides. And to test this, like we could also just go back to our website because the website's still just here. It's running in the background. It's crazy that we like turned this whole thing into a native app and we haven't blown up the website. Like the website still just works as we expect it to, like the same way as we left it. That is ridiculous. Like it's all still responsive. It still works as we'd expect. And then we can check. And yeah, we have our padding too on the sides here now. So like I think if I were to change that back, or yeah, remove PX2, you see it like kind of bumps in there, padding 2, bumps back. So nice, not bad. Where's our build? Our build's still going. Okay, wild. What are we building now? It's still some React Native. I think like I examined this one time and React Native takes the majority of time like in your builds. Looks like SVG is also like pretty heavy. Reanimated, you know, a little big. But yeah, I think like 95% of the build time was React Native, which is crazy because I personally never really modify React Native internal native code. Okay, so another thing I will want to do is I will want like when you tap a tab to scroll to the top. Like it's such a good behavior. Okay, looks like we're about at installation time and we can test if this one line JS change fixes anything. Such a like dichotomy between the development experience and how fast it is versus the release build experience. All right, looks like we are bundling the app this like secondary time. So the eager bundle did not match the old bundle, so it just rebundles. Then we install it, and it does look like, okay, so that, however many minutes that took, that does validate and verify that the base URL is now fixed in production. So I think that's good. And I think the games thing, yeah, that all scrolls and we have some padding on the side. I think that's like most of the issues that we saw. Another thing I want to do, but I'm not doing it now because I'm running out, is we should add there should be like a frequently asked questions button, but like up here in the header. So just like a little I button or something, but for another time. And I think if we close this or whatever, we start with a quick action like play. Do we get, we get the play tab. Cool. Quick actions work. Fantastic. EAS build dash auto submit dash platform iOS, send it off to the store. And I think that will do it. It'll be in there. I'll check on the test flight build one more time, but I'm pretty sure it did not get approved. The question here, why do we not cache the modules? We do cache the modules. So if I did another release build, it would work, but you can't like cache them across different computers unless you pre-build when you distribute. So I am in favor of us pre-building and distributing the pre-built code, which is similar to a cache in effect. Waiting for review. Okay, so yeah, that one's gonna take some time. I will tweet this out when it's ready then. But yeah, I mean, we got the other build firing off. That one's in progress with EAS here. We know it's gonna work. We've got our code over here. Which we can like push. Then we've got the native build. We've got the website. So we started with this website right here. This is the website in production. Here's the website in development. Still works the same way. We can still like scroll through the pages. We still got blogs. We still all of the content inside of it. We've got our games. We can open up different games. Got our FAQs. All of it's still statically rendered. So the website, nothing's changed. We haven't broken it, even though we've been coding directly against the native app the whole time. And then we switch over to the iOS app. Here is the results of our DOM components, right? Let's just close this, start from scratch. Open up. We've got our app. Got our home page. We've got some blurry top tab. We got the blurry bottom tab. There are haptics in these tabs. When we press on them, we can click on these elements. This is a fully native list that we've got here. We can look at something like, what's the good one with the video? Yeah, this one. So you've got, videos playing inline with our markdown. We can like select the menus and we can like tweet out quotes from the article, like the word obvious, which apparently I'm using. And then, we can open up different links in here. So we can like go to check out the GitHub. We've got, let's see, down here, we've got our FAQ page, which opens up as a native modal. Got some more blurring effects. Then we've got our play button. Come in here, we can click on one of these, and then it opens up a custom modal where we can play games like Pillar Valley in the browser, or Snake, or Doodle Jump, or Flappy Bird, or Sunset Cyberspace. Lots of options. So we have effectively converted and incrementally migrated our website over to a native app. Now there's it only took like an hour and a half and then another hour maybe just to do all the distribution. So fantastic stuff here. I mean, we can hit that. That genuinely feels really good. There's still room for improvement, obviously. Like I think this page we could convert over to native. This page definitely we can convert to native. And the FAQ page, maybe we convert it to native, but it's like it's not really hurting anyone being a web view. Like that's fine. It's just like some text. Some of these blog routes, I think another thing we could do here is we could have a custom blog route type, which is like pseudo-native, pseudo-web. So basically what we could do there is you could maybe be reading an article like universal links, or maybe like, what's a good one? Maybe like if you're reading something like home screen widgets, then there could be custom components in here, which are native only, and they literally use native APIs. Otherwise, the whole thing is web. And then if you're on web, you'll see like, just like switch to the native app if you want to switch over. Because the next thing we could do here, and something that you have to you need like a website and a native app, and then you can enable an app clip. So we could enable an app clip where when you go over and I send you a link, if you don't have the app, it would just open it up and you could see like the native version of a blog post, which could have things like, native APIs, cameras, the works. So I think that could all be really exciting. So we went from blog, I'm not sure if I want to even make this native app, to all these exciting potential possibilities. We could send notifications when new blog posts are published. We can switch this all over to a CDN. So lots of exciting possibilities. And now we have an app in the store. That is the power of Expo DOM components, SDK 52. Highly recommend you check these out. Give them a try. Let us know if they work for you, if they work as well as they worked here. I'm pretty pleased with the results. Very few changes. This is actually crazy how well it's working for a first release. And yeah, I think that's about it. Let me look at if there's any more questions here before we wrap up. Since each use DOM component runs in a separate web view, how can a provider component without repeating it across different use DOMs? So it can't. You repeat all the content across different use DOMs. There's certain elements of DOM components that I think it's okay to keep kind of like in the state where things are a bit repetitive, because in some places you do want to use DOM, like in a blog post, but in other places you really want to like have some mechanism built in that encourages developers to move off of a web view and over to native views. And I think the provider one, in the future we could probably have a serial provider. So if you have like some serial context, so like only values that are like numbers, strings, arrays, basic types, but no functions, then those could be repeated over the DOM component boundary. But that's kind of an extra optimization. We can do that in the future if we feel so inclined. But yeah, let's see. Swap back over here. I think maybe what do we do here? I guess just stop screen sharing. Let's see, what else do we got? Any other questions? Okay, I see there's a lot of presentation controls here that I probably could have been using the whole time, but did not. Let's talk to Dan. Let's see what Dan's got going on. Oh, yeah, okay. So I will also be streaming again during launch week, the Expo launch party. Plan was to do like a DOM component stream then. Maybe we'll do another DOM component stream then. There's a lot to get into. Maybe we'll like add widgets and app clips and stuff like that. Or maybe we will talk about the server component, server actions, because those are getting really close to being in a usable state. And yeah, they are really good. Like they are, it honestly, it's hard to sleep at night. I just want to get up and write code because of how good the like Expo server action stuff is. So very excited for you guys to try that. Obviously this DOM component stuff, it's game changing. Like I have an app today that I didn't have before, and the code is basically the same. If anything, it's more maintainable. So yeah, a lot to be excited about here for app developers, web developers, the likes. Yeah. So yeah, I guess take care, guys. Feel free to tweet at me if you have any other questions, and I will answer them. Or if I didn't get to your questions here, I'm sorry. But yeah, there's a lot going on. Sweet.